Hi everyone, let's talk about something that runs deep into the veins of family dynamics, alienation and estrangement. These aren't just words, they're complex emotions that echo through generations. We're going to dive into this intricate tapestry of these experiences. Are you ready to explore the emotional journey? My name is Marie Moore and I'm a therapist and a wellness coach. Let's jump in. So let's talk about estrangement first. At its core, estrangement is the physical and emotional distancing between family members, often culminating in strained or severed ties. So it doesn't just have to do with parents and children. Sometimes it happens with siblings. Sometimes it happens with extended family. It can be an array of different things. Its roots delve into a myriad of sources, unresolved conflicts, differing values, and a collapse in communication that can really fracture the landscape of relationships. So let's discuss alienation. So ordinarily or often we talk about parental alienation, but the word is the same for family members, okay? Alienation weaves a narrative where one family member purposefully drives a wedge between another and their broader support system. The alienated party is often thrust into isolation, feeling profound emotional turmoil, and then subsequently could also have physical difficulties and a huge sense of betrayal. There's this piece of that person being shunned and rejected. There's a lot of emotional pain. Alienation crafts a narrative of disconnect where bonds are severed and trust is shattered. It's just terrible for the person that is alienated, as well as the people that are all participating, and in this, the family is broken. So what are the causes and contributing factors? Well, if we go through the intricacies, what usually happens? Well, for parents and adult children that are cut off when there was parental alienation, the origin of that is divorce. This toxic family environment where one parent comes against the other and talks to the kids, talks to the adult children against them, and keeps this narrative going. That parent is terrible. You don't need a relationship with them. You're better off without them. When it's within the family, a similar narrative is going on, but there can be also family disputes that just don't get settled. There could be seismic life changes, misunderstandings, and also the shadows of mental health issues. There could be addictions, there could be mental illness that all come together to dismantle the fabric of relationships. Recognizing these threads in the tangled web is the first step towards disentangling and the discovery of potential solutions. The fallout from estrangement and alienation goes far beyond the physical fracture lines. It infiltrates the emotional, the psychological, and even physical realms of those involved. There's these feelings of loss of the relationship status. And if you just stop for a minute and think about it, they were in your life, now they're not in your life. There's this sense of loss. There's people that miss their family members. And there could be feelings of grief. What's in grief? Guilt, anger. All of this can create systems of isolation, okay? And this unwelcome companion on this very difficult journey. Understanding the emotional toll on the individuals lays the foundation for empathy and a compassionate approach to the thought and the idea of reconciliation. So what is the path to reconciliation? Well, sometimes it might not be a universally feasible or desired outcome. Charting a path towards understanding is indispensable. What do I mean by that? Well, when there's been such damage to the relationship and people feel terribly uncomfortable around that other person, they really need help to get to a place should they want to reconcile, okay? So one person may be desiring to have a relationship and the other one might say, you know what, it's just not there for me right now. It's not a comfortable place. Open communication, empathy, and a willingness to confront underlying issues can serve as a transformative catalyst. We can't always get the outcome we want, but we still can find a place within ourselves where we can transform and we can find joy again, okay? It's not always the outcome that you're looking for, unfortunately, because there could be extensive damage. Years can go by. However, the research tells us as people age, they soften, and there are those that are successful reconcilers. Read Fault Lines. It's in the description box by Dr. Carl Pilmer. He talks all about successful reconcilers. There are people that do it. However, when there's alienation, there's so many complicated factors that it makes it really hard for this to occur. Let's talk about how it's important for certain circumstances when all the parties involved are willing, when they involve a professional such as a family therapist, a counselor, or an estrangement coach, there can be an opportunity for dialogue and reconciliation. So coping strategies. This is a really difficult place to be. People are in great distress and yet they still have to function. They have to get up and go to work. They have to do their normal thing. What do you do? So coping strategies become essential, and it involves first a degree of self-reflection. What was my part? Now, not everybody can sit back and say, hey, I had nothing to do with it. It was all about them. This involves self-reflection, getting support, being around those that love and value you, hopefully having a mental health person or an estrangement coach. Why? Because it's a difficult road. Knowing how to create and craft a boundary, it's a pivotal piece of your health. Why? Because often if there's been alienation, there's also been some emotional abuse going on. If the person can get away with alienating your kids, there might have been a lot of damage done to you as well. So learning how to do some boundaries, learning how to get stronger, learning how to deal with childhood trauma, because that is often present as well. But one of the things that boundaries do is say, you know what, I'm not tolerating that. I'm just going to keep it here. And that's extremely important. Putting a boundary around yourself for your own well-being and saying, whatever happens, I still get to live. I still have a life. I have a purpose. I have things to do. So I'm going to take care of myself. And this is what I will do. And I'm not going to do all that stuff. And what's all that stuff on the other side? I'm not going to sit around and make as though my life is dissolved because the person that I want in my life is choosing not to be in it. What is the role of forgiveness? So I hear from a lot of you, you tell me things like, oh my gosh, this was so terrible. I could never forgive that person. Well, you get to decide whether you want to have forgiveness, but the research and the spiritual realm of forgiveness says this: We have better emotional and physical outcomes when we aren't holding an offense to someone else. When we release the offense, meaning we let the charge go, we feel better. It's not so much for them. And by the way, when you forgive, it does not necessarily mean that it's business as usual with the other person. If it still feels like it's not a good idea for you to be in relationship with them, or if it feels as though for you, you are not ready to be in relationship with them, that is your choice. And that is a boundary that you are able to create. Also, when there is forgiveness, this is a transcending act. It doesn't mean that you're saying, all of what you did is okay. But it offers a pathway to liberate ourselves from the shackles of resentment. The exploration of forgiveness becomes a place within the estrangement and alienation story, making a transformative chapter. What does that mean? You get to a place where there is healing that occurs. But guess what? You get to choose. If you're not ready to forgive, that's your choice. I hear from a lot of you, many of the adult children being so angry with their parents and having so many reasons. Some of it has been abuse, and they're saying there's no way I would ever go back into relationship. Well, you can still do that and forgive at the same time for your own well-being. This topic of estrangement is so complicated. There's no one size fits all. Everyone has the right to have their own feelings and their own experience where they go through at the pace that they are able. What's helpful, as I've said over and over again, is to have someone in your corner, someone who could be there to support you, someone who can help you get out of the difficulty of it, that can help you get through. It's complex and it's emotionally charged and it's demanding careful navigation. We've unraveled the definitions. We've peered into potential causes and contributors, and we've considered pathways to reconciliations. Individuals can embark on a journey toward healing fractured families. So I hope that this video was a support to you. I always say that being informed is a really good place. Why? The more we know, it gives us insight into what this is about and helps us to control the one thing that we can, what we do with what's going on within ourselves and our behaviors and actions. Get my ebook, Feeling Heartbroken and Alone, How to Pick Up the Pieces When You're Estranged. We'll see you in the next video.